This is Andy Christensen reporting on Stanton County Junior Senior High demographics. We're located in Stanton County. The county seat is Johnson City. Stanton County borders Colorado to the west, and we've got Morton County to the south, which borders Oklahoma. So we're pretty rural, pretty desolate out here. So school and community demographic analysis. The city of Johnson has a population of just under 2,000 people. Our community members that are over the age of 16, there's 70% of them that are employed. As a high school teacher, I've got quite a few students that have side jobs to help earn a little extra money for their families. The median household income in Stanton County is a little under $45,000. We do have a low cost of living out here. 7.9% of the population with income below the poverty level at least, or in the last year, excuse me. I think this number probably is significantly higher in the winter because of the dependence on seasonal jobs for some people. 40.1% of the population identifies as Hispanic or Latino, and less than 1% of the population identifies as Black or African American or Asian. So our community is pretty well split between being white, Caucasian, or being Hispanic or Latino. The school demographics, we've got a total enrollment within the district of 438 students. We've got slightly more male students enrolled at 51% versus 49% female. 66% of the district is considered to be economically disadvantaged. We've got 14% that are migrant students, 36% are ELL students, and 10% of students have some kind of disability. So for the school organization and climate, we have one elementary school in the district and one junior senior high school in the district. The elementary school has 229 students enrolled. They have one principal. Kindergarten through fourth grade classrooms are self-contained, and there are two teachers for most grades. Some grades have team teachers or teachers that share, kind of move around, but for the most part, 2 per grade is kind of how we do things. 5th and 6th grades rotate classes, and then there's one teacher per subject. So there's one social studies teacher for both the 5th graders and the 6th graders, one math teacher for 5th and 6th grade, so on and so forth. In the junior senior high, we've got 209 students with one principal. We've got 7 through 12 all in one building, and a lot of teachers teach both middle school and high school classes. So I'm currently split with 4 junior high classes and 2 high school classes. Within our district, we also have one superintendent, and she's actually housed in the building that has the junior senior high, so that's all connected. Student background information, this is just for the high school. 44% of students identify as white, with 55.5% identifying as Hispanic, and then about 0.5% identifying as another race. So we're pretty well split on white versus Hispanic students, with Hispanic students being the majority here. This is that same information again. 15% of students are migrant students, 33.5% are ELL students, and the 2017 KELPA 2 test showed that we've got 31% of our students that are not proficient in English, 69% nearly proficient, and we didn't have any being tested as proficient. So home language, I'm pretty confident in saying that if students don't speak English at home, they're speaking Spanish. So I can't think of any students or know of any other language that are that's spoken in this area. So socioeconomic status, we've got 63.5% in the district that are economically disadvantaged. And then for gender in the high school, junior, senior high, we've got 45.5% female, 54.5% male, and the students in our building range from 11 for a younger 7th grader to 19 for an older senior. So there's a pretty good range there. All right, student academic information. This information surprised me with how many level 1 students we've got. So reading, we've got level 1 of 61% of students, level 2 is 32% of students, level 3 is 8%. We had no students at the level 4. Math, we had 51% at level 1. Level 2 is 33%, level 3 was 13%, level 4 was 3%. Science, level 1 we had 58%, level 2 was 25%, level 3 was 13%, level 4 was 4%, and social studies, I wasn't able to find any information on that. But I didn't have any idea of what these levels meant, so I went ahead and did some research. Level 1 indicates that the students have really no or very basic grasp of the information within that subject area. Level 2 is that it's developing. Level 3 is that the students have a pretty strong grip, and then level 4 I would consider to be pretty proficient. So yeah, these numbers, the number of level 1 students was shocking to me. So the educational options that we have in Stanton County for educational placement, we do utilize a CELUS for students that need to make up credits if they failed a class at some point, or if they're transferring into the district from a district that has different standards for graduation than we do. We've also used it for students that need a class or want to take a class that we don't have a teacher for. Physics and chemistry would be an example of that. We lost our teacher last year that was certified to teach chemistry and physics, and our new teacher doesn't feel comfortable with that, so we've got several students taking classes on a CELUS. We also have a lot of dual credit opportunities for students. Animal science would be one. We've got some comp classes that students can take during the school day for high school credit, and they also get college credit. There's a few evening classes that are offered by the local community college that will allow students to get credit that way too. For learning accommodations, we do have an excellent at-risk coordinator that works with students whenever she can. She stays until 5 or 6 o'clock in the evenings with students, just to make sure that she's helping them get all the help that they need. We do have a SIT team, which is a student improvement team, which is kind of redundant there. And that helps to identify students that don't necessarily identify or test to be having a disability, but need some kind of accommodations within the classroom. We also have a gifted facilitator through High Plains Educational Cooperative, and she works with our gifted students. I did forget to put on the slide that we do have a special ed teacher in the building that works pretty heavily with the students and is amazing at getting out IEPs and talking to teachers about what we can do with some of our students with disabilities. For testing accommodations in the building, I think there's a lot of flexibility, and that's everything from where we give the students their test, what time we give the students their test, and then the methods of delivery. I've given oral tests to students that might have issues reading. I've given test on paper for students that don't feel comfortable taking it on the computer. But for me personally, I typically test through Google Classroom and Google Forms. So in doing this assignment, I had some pretty good reflection. Stanton County is really diverse, but we're not as colorful as other districts. I know that there are other districts within the state that have a high percentage of students that are foreign born or ELL or anything that kind of falls outside the norm, I guess. But we're really pretty evenly divided on being Hispanic or Caucasian. And I think that there's some danger in that. I think a lot of educators think, well, they're Hispanic, they can't be that different. And I think that we're not doing those students any favors by having that kind of mindset. We know our Caucasian students are hugely diverse, from having parents that are very well off to potentially being homeless, but we don't really think of some of our minority students that way. So economically disadvantaged students in Stanton County, the percentage is actually lower than the state percentage, which was kind of surprising to me because we're such a rural area and so much of our economy focuses on agriculture. Our assessment scores aren't great. Like I said, I'm just a little bit dismayed by the number of level 1 students, or the number of students that tested as level 1. I think we aren't doing our students any favors, and that there's a lot of areas that we need to improve in, and really we're doing something wrong somewhere, and we need to make some kind of improvement. So I talked about us having ACELUS as an option and then dual credit options for our students, but I don't feel like we have as many options as what we could or should. I feel like we have kind of shoehorned a lot of our students into classes just because we don't have the teachers available to teach students what they're interested in. And with those assessment scores, going back to that, we've got some pretty wide gaps in achievement. We had those level 4 students that were pretty proficient at the different subjects, and quite a few students that were testing at that level 1. So we've got a huge gap in, our underperforming students and then our highly performing students. And I think that makes it difficult for us as teachers to anticipate that and know what to do with that gap, because oftentimes those students are all in one class, and tailoring the curriculum to meet the needs of both types of students can be pretty difficult. So once again, this is Andy Christensen, and these are my thoughts on our district and our demographics and the diversity within it. Thanks.